Welcome to the Smart English Academy. Here we learn simple English through real-life stories. Clear, easy, and smart.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a rush and ordered the wrong thing? Maybe you said the wrong words, or didn't even notice the mistake until it was too late? Don't worry, it happens to all of us. Today, you'll hear an interesting story about Jessica. She ordered the wrong coffee by mistake, but something surprising happened because of it. As you listen, you'll learn useful vocabulary for ordering drinks and talking about mistakes, simple phrases to describe your day or feelings, and natural English you can use in everyday conversations. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Hey, I'm Jessica. I'm 24 and I work in marketing. This morning, something embarrassing happened, but it turned out pretty great, actually. So I was running super late for work. I barely had time to brush my teeth, let alone make breakfast. I decided to grab coffee from this new place near my office that everyone's been talking about. I walked in and wow, the line was huge. Like seriously, there were at least 15 people waiting. I checked my phone. I had maybe 10 minutes before my boss would notice I wasn't at my desk. When I finally got to the front, I was so stressed that I completely messed up my order. I meant to say medium latte with oat milk, but somehow what came out was large cappuccino with extra foam. The barista, this guy with curly hair and a friendly smile, just nodded and wrote it down. I paid quickly and stood to the side with all the other people waiting for their drinks. I kept checking my watch, getting more and more anxious. Finally, they called out, "Jessica," and I grabbed my cup and ran. I didn't even taste it until I got to the office. I took a big sip and, it was way too strong and bitter. Nothing like what I usually drink. But I was already at work, so I just dealt with it. Around lunch, I went back to return the cup. They have this recycling thing. The same curly-haired barista was there. He looked at me and said, "Hey, how was the cappuccino? You seemed pretty rushed this morning." I laughed and said, "Honestly, it was terrible. But that's totally my fault. I was so nervous I ordered the wrong thing." He smiled and said, "You know what? Let me make you what you actually wanted. On the house." I was like, "Really? You don't have to do that." But he insisted. While he was making my latte, we started chatting. Turns out his name is Alex, and he's actually an art student who works there part-time. He's really funny and easy to talk to. The latte was perfect. Smooth, not too strong, exactly what I needed. As I was leaving, Alex said, "Same time tomorrow?" And I found myself saying, "Yeah, definitely." So now I have a new coffee place and maybe a new friend. Alex seems really nice. My coworker Sarah thinks I should ask him out, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. The funny thing is, if I hadn't messed up my order this morning, I probably would have just grabbed my coffee and left without talking to anyone. Sometimes the best things happen when everything goes wrong. Tomorrow, I'm definitely ordering the right thing, though. I can't handle another cappuccino disaster.
Okay, that's Jessica's story. Now let's learn some useful English words and phrases from the story. These words will help you talk about ordering coffee, making mistakes, and sharing everyday experiences in English. After we review the vocabulary, I'll ask you some questions to check your listening. If you listen carefully to the story, you'll be able to answer them easily.
Barely, meaning almost not, only just. Story example, I barely had time to brush my teeth. Extra example, he barely passed the exam. Mess up, meaning to make a mistake. Story example, I completely messed up my order. Extra example, I messed up my test by forgetting to answer one question. Anxious, meaning feeling worried or nervous. Story example: I kept checking my watch, getting more and more anxious. Extra example: she felt anxious before the interview. Embarrassing, meaning making you feel shy, uncomfortable, or ashamed. Story example: something embarrassing happened. Sip, meaning a small drink, to drink slowly or in small amounts. Story example: I took a big sip. Extra example: she took a sip of tea and smiled. Insist, meaning to say something strongly or demand it. Story example: but he insisted. Extra example: she insisted on paying for dinner. Running super late, meaning being very late, in a big hurry. Story example: I was running super late for work. Extra example: I was running super late, so I skipped breakfast. Deal with it, meaning to handle a problem or difficult situation. Story example: so I just dealt with it. Extra example: it's not easy, but we have to deal with it. Found myself saying, meaning you say something without really planning to. Story example: I found myself saying, yeah, definitely. Extra example: I didn't mean to agree, but I found myself saying yes. What drink did Jessica want to order? Why didn't she taste the coffee until she got to work? How did Alex react when Jessica said she made a mistake? What does Jessica think about Alex at the end? What is the lesson Jessica learns from the story?
All right, did you like today's video? Tell me in the comments. I hope you enjoyed Jessica's story and learned some new words about ordering coffee, making mistakes, and meeting new people. And don't forget, the answers to the listening questions are in the first comment below. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video.